And so we have this opportunity for a one-day retreat together, yeah? Time apart, but in some ways the focus is not to retreat from your life, but actually to return to who you are. So rather than feeling like this is a time we go into a meditation state and then we have to go back to operate from our usual identity, what we're going to do is we're going to return to the foundation of who we've always been, and then as we walk out the door, hopefully have a glimpse or a sense of living from this more basic primary dimension of our being. Yeah? So this is a really opportunity not just to calm our minds and our emotions and our bodies, but to discover this awake awareness, this primary dimension, what's called true nature, or who you truly are, that's already calm, that's always been awake, and that's equally available as each of you, and has always been here, but has simply been covered over or obscured. Yeah? So that premise is kind of the hypothesis. So this kind of gathering is really not about me sitting up here giving you a philosophy that you need to believe. It's really presenting a view or a hypothesis. And then the majority of what we're going to do are little experiments that I'll present to you, and then you'll do the experiments and report the results. What's true for you in your reality. So rather than looking this way and listening to a talking head, talking to your head, I'll be giving you some experiments, and the direction you'll be looking is that way. Right? Back within yourself. That's where you'll find what you're looking for. So in some ways, the role of a teacher is to point you or introduce you to your inner teacher. So this kind of premise is that the awake awareness that we're looking for is not outside ourselves, is not in the future, is not found in a thing or a person or a place that we go on pilgrimage to, but is equally already here within you and as you. So that which we are looking for is that which is already looking through your heart. So that's the basic premise. And then the approach is a little different. So the approach is that there's some conceptual framework from talking about what is the map, let's say, like an impressionist map, not an exact map, but kind of general territory of where we're, kind of what we're looking for and what we're not looking for. So we're not looking to ideas or thoughts. We're not looking at the contents of consciousness, but we're actually seeing whether we can discover the context, the awareness or the ground that is not coming and going, and that is inherent within all content. Yeah? So that's kind of the reason we've missed it is because it is invisible, because it's not a thing, because it's what's looking, because it's so close, because it's not fast-moving or strong, that it's almost as if when we've experienced it almost as a gap or an after effect of peace, but not as, and then we have a thought about it, or a philosophy about it, or read a book about it, or write a book about it. But the premise is that what is aware and what we're interested in is the same awareness. So that the awareness, aware of awareness, is the first opportunity, is the first shift that we're going to explore. However, we're not going to stop with that awareness that is this pure awareness. Is first, it seems as if it's the object, as if it's where we're looking, but then it's discovered that that awareness is actually the subject. That awareness is the subject and the object. That awareness is the ground of what we're aware of and what's always been aware. And then that awareness is discovered to be none other than inherent within and arising as our bodies, thoughts, minds, without collapsing back into a small sense of self. So we're opening to the spacious dimension of awareness. That awareness is discovered to already be aware without our help. And then it's discovered that that awareness is not just transcendent, but is immanent, is not just formless, but is also inherent within form. So you may have heard of the Buddhist premise that form is emptiness, right? And then what we're going to particularly focus on is the second half, which is that emptiness is also form. So form is this empty awareness that is intelligent prior to thought, within thought, can use thought, but is alert regardless of thought. It's thought-free alertness that can use thought. And that awareness is also inherent within and is the ground of our very being. So that's the map of what we're looking for, and pretty much everything else is changing contents, and we're not that interested for now. So rather than focusing on what is the negative thoughts, emotions, feelings, stories, issues, those are all welcome, but first we're going to find the ground or the context or the sense of who is looking. So it's not so much about what's arising that we're interested in here, but what or who is it arising to. Once we get what or who it's arising to, we come back and include everything just as it is. So we're not escaping or denying, but we're not focusing on analyzing the obscuration, the issues, the problems. We're going to the solution right away. And that's kind of the unique premise. Let's go to the solution, and the solution is, who am I? What is aware? When we find what is aware, we don't stay transcendent, but that which is aware then is welcoming, including, loving, and has such a tremendous support and intelligence to see and feel everything that you are inside and outside in a new way, from a new view. So that's about the whole story there. It's about the hypothesis. Here's the advanced practice right away. So we're going to unhook awareness. So we're shifting out of our minds, dropping either into our bodies, back to our senses, and opening local awareness out to discover spacious awareness. Then spacious awareness is discovered to be aware of itself, and spacious awareness is discovered to be none other than our alive human form, the ocean of awareness appearing as this unique human being with all its conditioning, contents of consciousness, and then from there there's a discovery of having shifted from head mind to heart mind. And from heart mind, there's the ability to create and relate to others, and a seeing of the awakeness and the uniqueness of everyone else from this new view. So this is an approach that's a direct recognition and a gradual unfolding. Small glimpses many times. We kind of lose this, go back to our usual operating system of this point of view within our head, and then we learn how to unhook and return. So we learn to return, and then we train to remain, and then we lose it, and it's no big surprise, we just re-recognize. And that's kind of the main method of this direct approach and gradual unfolding. So that's about most of what your thinker and thought-based way of knowing can understand, is this premise or this view. So the next thing is, as soon as we shift out of this thought-based thinker, we've heard, I think, therefore I am, and we're going to discover that the am is not dependent on thought. So we're going to discover the am that am. Is that Popeye or something? I am that I am? Or something. The am that can think or doesn't need to think. Can move your hand and let your hand relax. Can use thought and can let thought relax. And when thought relaxes and the sense of I am is here, it's called peace of mind and open heart. And that can become the new baseline of how you walk around even New York City. Peace of mind, open heart, sense of little bliss in the body, sense of love, kind of a beginner's mind, curiosity, a sense of being unafraid and free of the majority of a type of suffering whose cause is this operating from the small sense of self, who piggybacks on other little daily pleasant and unpleasant ups and downs and just makes it into fear, terror, shame, guilt, worry, anxiety, depression. All of that is, once you see that it's mostly looping, it loops on itself, attempting to try to solve its own problem, is the problem. The problem-solving tendency of the small sense of self is what's causing most of the problems. So we'll discover what that's like when we let go for a moment and then learn how to look and tune in to different dimension of consciousness as the primary dimension.